Hey guys, so I've been asked several times how to get started with high fidelity design, how to set up your file, and how to create buttons. These are things I've been asked a lot, so I'm going to try to do a quick tutorial to help you guys understand this a little bit more. The first thing that I would recommend is looking for free icon libraries. I use Sketch, so you can find Sketch libraries under sketchappsources.com, and I have another tutorial on the same YouTube channel showing you how to find and install icon libraries. My icon libraries do exist right now. You can see them here under symbols, and I have my Apple iOS activated, and this Feather Sketch one has a bunch of icons in it that I can pull directly onto any artboard that I use, and it stays there for all my different files. Okay, so the first thing to do is to download an icon library, or two or three, and have some to choose from for Sketch. Okay, now to get to how to set up your file. So the first thing I would do, even though it seems a little bit overwhelming, is create your UI first. Create the types of buttons you're going to use, and you don't have to have it totally decided, but just start somewhere. Start with a font and a few buttons, and put it in a document. You can save this as a separate document. I started this as just a desktop screen here, and you can see I've created 3 different types of buttons, and there are a few symbols here and a few different font styles. How to create a button, I'll make one real fast just so you can see. It's just a shape with text over it. It's easy. So I'm going to press R to create a rectangle, just to show you guys how to do it from scratch. So this is the base of a button here. This radius is where you can change, if you want to have rounded corners, you can change the shape up here. I'm going to just keep it there for now. I'm going to undo the border because I want it to be kind of flat, and I'm just going to change the color a little bit. So say if you were doing a grayscale prototype, maybe I want this button to be really punchy. So I'm going to put a dark gray, I'm going to add some text over it, and for now I'm just going to say button. Now we can't see that because the text is gray, so I'm going to change that to white. Okay, and then the next thing I do when I create a button is make sure that everything is aligned properly. So I'm selecting both layers. I have both layers selected. I come to my alignment and I center vertically and then I center horizontally. Okay, that looks great. This button, I want to be able to reuse this button and just insert it quickly into my design. I don't want to have to copy and paste and remake this button every time. And this button, I want it to be like kind of responsive. I want to be able to change the layout, the size of the button, and change the length of the text on the button without causing any issues. So to do that, I want this text to always be in the center, always. So I click on my text and I make sure that this center alignment is selected down here. Now I click on both layers, and this is where we get into how to create a button to reuse over and over again in your design. So I have both of my layers selected, and now I go up here and I press create symbol. Okay, I'm going to name this as button 3. Now right here is important. This says if you select a layout option, instances of this symbol will resize when you edit their overrides. Now I want this button to resize when I change the text on the button. I want it to always be horizontally centered, okay? And I want the button itself, the rectangle, to expand horizontally if the text, or retract horizontally if the text gets shorter or longer. So I'm going to pick horizontally center layout, okay? If you pick vertical, the button will get taller or shorter, and that's weird, and you never have a two-line button anyway. So I'm going to click that, and now I'm going to click create. Okay? So that, what I just showed you, is how I created these two buttons. Alright, I'm just going to delete this button for now. This button I wanted to create a little bit differently. This button I wanted to always remain the same size despite the text on the page. So when I created this button, I picked no layout. Okay. I also want this button to be able to have different shapes appear right here. So I inserted those shapes into this document, my UI document, and then I created symbols of them, and I have them ready to go. Okay, so those are all the things I did first. Then over here, I just picked a font, and I chose what I thought would look good for a header, a subheader, and body text styles. And I created the text, and then I went over here. Let me do this over again. So I created the text by just writing body text on the page. And then say I wanted to try a different body text style because I already have body text. Say I want a smaller body text than what I already have. So I created this. I can create this. But this is just text on the page. It's not a style yet. To create the style, you go over here where it says appearance, and you just press create. And it automatically populates this field for you. And you see right here it says body text to style. Okay. I know this seems like a lot of work to set up a whole document and all of this. First, you have to really start thinking through your design. Every time you add a button or a font style, you have to add it to your document. But I'm going to show you why it will save you a ton of time and make your life so much easier if you just do this right away. Okay, so I created two screens here, just fake screens to demonstrate how this all works. So over here you automatically see your layers, right? But if you click on components, you can also see components that you've created, which are all these shapes and buttons over here. Okay, so I am first going to drag in my main CTA button. I think I'm going to need one here, and I'm going to also need one on this page, right? So this right now just says button, and that's not good for anyone. I'm going to also, so we're clicking on this button, and if you double click this button, it will bring you into the actual component. You don't want to touch this once you set it up unless you're making global changes across all your buttons. So I'm going to go back to this shape, and what you'll notice is that over here you're going to see something called overrides. Anything that can be changed on your button you can change here. So you always want to make sure you also allow overrides. I'm going to change the word button to sign up. And you notice that button got a little bit bigger. You saw it resize. For me, I want this button kind of left aligned, so I'm going to make sure it's aligned. For this button, I want to make this say something else like start your adventure. Alright, so now I'm going to center that on the page, and actually I'm going to make this aligned this way, and that's looking a little bit long, so I'm just going to say start adventure. And look at that, see how it automatically resizes but keeps the same general style. It's really helpful. Now say you are you go through user testing and you discover that, oh, this is like a zombie apocalypse app. I think that the color of the button should be red. That's when you want to go in and change your component at a global level. So I can double click, and now I'm editing my main button here. I'm going to click into my button, right? You can also, I double clicked it a couple times until the different sections started showing up. So now for my fill, instead of blue, I'm going to choose red. And I want to make it a little bit darker, so it's like zombie blood. Okay? Then I will return to instance, and you'll notice that it has saved across both buttons. So that's awesome. So this is how you can change multiple screens all at the same time. Say in the same round of user testing, someone thought, oh, I don't really like this font. I don't think it works well for the body. I can't read it. Can you give me something with a serif? So what I can do here is just pick a different font. I'm going to choose Times New Roman. It's a classic. And I'm just going to press Update. And you see it updated over here also, right? And you'll also see it updated on your style guide as well. So you can really keep track of your UI from in like a top-down way. Let's do one more. I think that this header is a bit, it looks a little bit clunky considering this is all caps and bold. It just doesn't seem like it goes together. So I'm going to change my header. I'm going to make my header bold. I'm going to change this. Oops, I forgot to update. I'm going to update it, and you'll see it changed over here. And I'm going to take my subheader, and I'm going to make it regular. And I'm going to press update, and I don't have a subheader on this page, but you will see that it updated over here as well. So it's pretty cool how this works. Now I'm going to go into one more thing that's a little bit more advanced. Say I want to make a list of buttons and I want them to all be a little bit different. Remember, I set this button up so that it wouldn't change width as we resize. Like these buttons change width, these ones aren't going to change width because I want them to all be on a line on a page, and I don't want them to like stretch or look that different from each other. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of lay them roughly out on the page, how I want the page to look. Okay, I'm going to make sure they're evenly spaced by clicking horizontal distribution. And then I'm going to make sure they're centered both horizontally and vertically on the page. And I'm going to do that by pressing Command G. I'm grouping them all together in one group, and I'm centering horizontally, and then I'm going to center vertically. Okay, and then I'm going to ungroup them. Now, how do I want these buttons to be different? Okay, I do want a notifications button, so I'm going to keep this notification symbol, and I'm going to come over here, and I can see my overrides. I'm just going to write in notifications. Okay, I changed that one. For this one, I want to override the symbol and the words. So for this, you can, under your overrides, you can see this has notifications. I can choose from the other symbols I created. And all I did to create those symbols was insert from pre-built icons that I already put into my sketch, and I made them into a symbol for this particular project. So I'm going to click that, and now I'm going to write favorites. And now I'm going to do the same thing for this button. I would like that one to be profile. And then this one to be my last symbol I created, which was settings. And I'm going to change it to settings. Okay, so that's really cool. And now if, say in user testing, they didn't like this color either, all I have to do is click on my master button and go into my components and change the color. So they maybe want this to be like a green color. Let's pick like a minty green color. Okay. Return to instance, and they're all changed. So I just remembered I created this secondary button style right here, and I want to show you that works really well also. So I'm going to delete, actually let's duplicate this screen just to demonstrate. So here's another screen over here. And I'm going to take this button out, just delete it, and I'm going to into my components, and I'm going to drag in this secondary CTA button. I'm going to put it right about here. Now, the first thing you notice is that this blue color is here because I never changed it. One other thing that you should definitely set up when you're creating your document is your color palette or shades, because I know we're often doing black and white grayscale prototypes with Career Foundry. So say you want to keep this red color and reuse it for multiple things. You can just click, I'm clicking into my component because it's a component, and I'm going over, anytime you create a shape you can put a fill in, I'm sure you guys have noticed that. But down here where your colors are, you can also click on document colors. And right now it's empty. To add a document color to save and reuse, all you have to do is click add right here. And it adds the color so you can always reuse it anytime, which is pretty helpful. Since I'm already on this screen, I'm going to change the main button color now, since I'm already in here. So first I'm going to change the text color. It already is in here because I just added it. And now I'm going to change the shape outline color also. And you know what? I actually don't really like the look of this. So I'm going to edit this again one more time. And I am going to change it to outlined, an outline button with dark gray. And I'm going to pick a dark gray from here, maybe like this dark gray, edit it a little, and then I'm going to add that to my document as well. So now I have two colors down here that are my color palette for anything I want to do with my prototype. So now if I go back into layers and I click page, you'll see that everything updated. And I also have my UI kit going already as well. So it's pretty great how all this works. Now I'm going to change my button using my override, and I'm just going to type in start adventure like I had up there, right? So this could be an interesting A/B test right here. Which button looks better on this page? But I would definitely encourage you guys to set up your whole document with shapes. They're called components or symbols in Sketch. XD, I think, might do similar things, but I know Sketch the best. So it saves a lot of time and will help you make changes really quickly, and it will be a lot less frustrating for you, I promise.